Welcome back, everybody, for a new episode of Dollar Bin Digging. This is the video and article that I do for comicbookinvest.com, where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those cheap boxes that you can find that are based off of some of the recent news, rumors, announcements, things going on in the comics, etc. These are things that just kind of jump out to me that I think will be fun little finds that tie into some of the things going on in our hobby today. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends we can keep growing the channel as we are so close to 3K as far as subscribers go, and we'll be doing a nice round of giveaways as soon as we hit that, minor milestone for the channel. With that all said, I know it's been a couple of weeks since I've been able to do one of these shows, do a Dollar Bin Digging article for that matter, but trying to get back on schedule now that we've gotten through the real life delays that held up me being able to put out all the shows that I want to put out. So we are getting back on track, and hopefully after Thanksgiving we'll be in line and getting into 2024 on a more regular basis. That all said, if you want to see what books I got for you this week, it is again another short one, but I do got a few things that I think are kind of fun out there. Just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. All right, so first up, we are going to go outside of Marvel and DC and go over to IDW and look at a Sonic the Hedgehog character, Surge the Tenrec. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. I didn't know what a Tenrec was. I actually had to Google it and look it up and find out that it is sort of like a mammal. It's a kind of a broad, kind of a broad description for this type of mammal. It covers possums and rats and hedgehogs and what have you. So that's what this Tenrec is. So Surge introduced surprisingly in the comics first and is going to be showing up in a game, as we do have a new Sonic game on the way. So that's not how this normally plays out. When you have a video game property that they make comics out of, usually they take characters from the games and then put them in the comics. They don't often take characters from the comics and start putting them into games. It's just not how they usually do things. So this is kind of interesting to me. With that all said, it's a somewhat recent issue. I mean, Sonic hit issue 50 a few months ago. So going back to issue 46, this is the first appearance of Surge in there. Granted, I mentioned the 50th issue because Surge is on the cover of a couple of those issue 50s because that was kind of the storyline they were building to here that they started with this issue 46. But issue 46 is the one where we get this first kind of cameo appearance. This is the cover A. There is a B cover as well as a 1 in 10 retailer incentive that you might want to be aware of. Keep an eye out for. But inside this issue, as I mentioned, there is kind of a cameo appearance for this character, Surge the Tenrec. Or Tenrec. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you guys know what I'm getting at this point. Still, not that expensive of a book, even if you were to go out there and want to pay, pay on the internet for it. I'm telling you, go dig in the cheap boxes. This is the kind of overstock thing you might find just buried in a box. This was not hot coming out of the gate. Not a lot of people talking about this book, so it's not one that's going to be found up on a wall. You're going to find it buried in a box somewhere, and in a lot of cases, it might just be cheap. Copies have sold, though. You can see recent, within the last week or two, right around $10, which, again, it's not terribly high. It's not terribly low. It's, it's all right for a book like this, but you can still go and buy copies for as cheap as $5 up to like $7. It's really kind of around that cover price mark. So again, you can probably find this in shops, maybe for a cover price, maybe less, depending on how often and how quickly your shop discounts books and wants to clear space for new stock. That's why I'm bringing this up here. So there's a chance you can go and find this book out there and get that first appearance of Surge if you're interested. Moving on. I've talked about this group of characters before, and we even talked about this series of books, I think, before, but we're going to get it back into them again because having seen the Marvels this past weekend, I don't know if they completely suggested that these villains could be coming, but you never know. We are getting, again, without giving any spoilers, we got a little bit of X-Men ties, and we know that with the X-Men and even Captain Marvel, there are strong ties too. If you haven't seen those characters in the background of this picture, the Brood. Yes, the Brood, which are basically xenomorph alien knockoffs that Marvel came out with, back in the day. It's fine. They are what they are. I mean, they're a little different as far as, they kind of can take over your body and kind of transmute you a little bit. They're almost like they're both parasites, but, it's a little bit different. They don't just explode out of your chest and kill you. They kind of take you over. That all said, The Brood actually first appeared all the way back in Uncanny X-Men number 155. It's just kind of a quick little, like a page or so. Not a lot going on there, but it is the start of their introduction. And then you got them coming back a little bit later. They come back through X titles here and there. Now, you're probably not finding this in a cheap box or dollar bin, but I didn't feel right skipping this because it is their first appearance. So I figured, you know what? Might as well just give you some numbers around it because, again, this is a light week as far as stories go. So I figured I'd give you this one and just tell you about it anyway, in case you can find it in a cheap box. Issue 155 can sell for like $7, $10, up to $15. Those are some recent sales. Asking prices, look, there's one at auction. It's only at $2 right now. And then other copies listed for around $10. Grade sensitive, of course. But there's plenty of these X books out there. This X-Men were very, very popular for a good long while. So there's a lot of these back issues out there. Granted, you finding them in a dollar bin might be a bit of a stretch, but hey, I don't know where you're doing your digging. You could find this type of stuff at like half price books, yard sales, flea markets, not places that might price everything like your LCS. So go ahead and look. You never know what you might find in, like I said, like a yard sale, flea market type scenario. Maybe you can find a book like this. But that's not really the main point of why I brought this series up. I thought about doing the Ms. Marvel Frank Cho run that started off that Ms. Marvel run. It was like the first few issues. She did Tackle the Brood and a couple of cool covers in there, like I said, with some Frank Cho. But I think we did those already. So I decided to pivot to a closer, more recent. So again, you might find this in recent overstock, maybe half cover, that kind of discount or something like that. The somewhat recent Captain Marvel run. This run ended at issue 50, but from issue 43 to 49, they had this series that was Revenge of the Brood. It was 7 parts, ran for a while. It was a pretty good crossover with the X-Men, and you had Captain Marvel, so you had Carol Danvers, and, again, facing off against this alien race. Here's 43, and then I'll show you the other 6 covers that you can see here. You got a nice bunch of, like, X-23 mixing in, Spider-Woman. It was a big, like, event for Captain Marvel. Well, not huge, but you know what I mean. Kind of a big story in that title, as far as the title goes. And then it, again, wrapped up with issue 49 before issue 50 kind of capped off that series, and then they restarted it yet again because we know we need more new number ones. So sick of the restarts. Why can't we just get legacy? There is legacy numbering on there, but can't we just revert to legacy numbering at this point, please? I'd like it personally, but, I'll take what I can get. With that said, this whole series is like a storyline, so you kind of want to keep an eye out for all of it if you want to read it and get the whole kind of story. So I just kind of looked in general for this series. Yes, we'll see some individual issues like issue 49 sold for 99 cents with one bid. Then you can see $12 got somebody else 5 issues, issue 42, 43, 44, 45, and 46. And then there's the whole run from 43 through 50. That was a best offer on $17. So under $17. So people paying less than cover. It's even online sales have been for cheap. So me saying that you might find this in a discount box ain't that much of a stretch. It's already discounted online. But with that, if you were looking for recent copies listed, well, there's some auctions where maybe you can get a book like this for 99 cents, or you can buy the whole run 43 to 49 Revenge of the Brood set for $30. Yeah, that's getting close to cover at that price, but I mean, it is what it is. If you want to read it and you pay cover price, that's not the worst thing in the world. But that's not the point of this series and this show and this article. So look for cheap. Go and dig for it for cheap. That's more the point of where you can go and find something like this. Take a shot. Let me know if you find anything. Tag me on Instagram. I love to see when you guys find these books that I throw out there for you. All right, moving on. Offbeat title coming. Just putting it out there. I know this is going to be an oddball one, but I saw a story, thought it was interesting, said, hey, how can we tie this into comics? More the comics of the past, I should say, because Archie is announcing that they're going to be coming with this special face focusing in on the Jaguar in a new one-shot. So, yes, Archie for a time did have some superhero characters. Some of those classics that they decided to repurpose and revamp and kind of put in their own little universe and their own little corner of the Archieverse. I don't know. But Archie is doing a one-shot on the Jaguar. The original OG Jaguar was a male, and that goes way, way back. So we're not looking for that. You're not going to find that in a dollar bin anywhere. But, as I mentioned, Archie and even the comics of the 90s rebooted, made the character of the Jaguar a female. That first female version of the character was introduced in Impact Winter Special here. So the first big 64-page one-shot, yada, yada, yada. This is where we got a bunch of stories introducing us to a bunch of these types of characters like Mighty Crusaders and what have you. But the Jaguar appeared in one of those short stories inside this kind of anthology winter special. So, and there you go. There she is. This is where you're going to find her first. This is like prime dollar bin digging fodder. Like, this is stuff you go past and we're like, what are this plasm titles? We got impact stuff. We may have some Malibu in there, just offbeat titles. And you're going, what is this stuff? So go and look, have some fun. I just see if you guys can go and find this. So I'm putting it out there. You guys, I challenge you to go and find in the cheap boxes and let me see if you find them in those boxes when you're out there digging this weekend. Book like this, it doesn't look. 2 sold for 99 cents a piece. Like, I found 2 examples where this sold for $1. Even online, it's only $1 book. Asking prices, $1.99, 99 cents, $2.20. It's like I said, this is a cheap book. This is not something that's expensive. It's not going to get you rich. It's just kind of fun. Comics should be fun. So this is the one I'm throwing out for you. See if you can go and find me an Impact Winter Special. And if you do, tag me on Instagram because I think it's kind of fun. Let's have fun with comics and let's have fun digging and looking for books. So go and find it. Moving on. I think I got another two topics for you. So again, this might be like a 15-minute video, something short, but again, just gives you something fun to go dig for when you're out there in those boxes this weekend. Up next, we are getting a new Night Thrasher series. So I think it's going to be a mini series Marvel's going to come out with, probably like a 5-issue series like they've been doing over and over for a bunch of other characters. So Night Thrasher is getting his moment back in the spotlight. Okay, key member of New Warriors. Okay, that's nothing wrong with that. He first appeared along with the other New Warriors in that Mighty Thor 411. This book's already started to heat up a little bit. You can find out tomorrow if it's going to actually make the cbsi Hot 10 list, but I will have the outside looking into. So if it doesn't quite make it, it might find its way on that list. But I will tell you, I was looking at this one this week because prices did start to jump. And like I said, this is the first appearance, the Mighty Thor 411, of the New Warriors. There, tail end of the book. Hey, here we are. I'm not covering prices on this book because, like I said, it's already spiking. And this is a book that people have spec'd on for a while. So it's not necessarily one you would find in a dollar box anyway, that Thor book. I mean, if you find it, God bless you. Good job. But I didn't bother going into the price. Like I said, that thing's already hitting like $25 this week. Again, where it's been before, but it's just kind of bouncing back because of the new recent news. It puts it back on people's radar. They start looking again. But apart from that first appearance, I thought, let's look at some other 90s goodness. Let's look at Night Thrasher's first solo series where we got some awesome red shiny foil. So Night Thrasher's miniseries number 1. Maybe you can find some of this gimmick 90s book, goodness out there. It still sells for cheap. There are a lot of these out there. I remember when this book came out. Look, even online, 99 cents with 2 bids, 99 cents and 99 cents. So somebody bid 99, bid what they bid. And then they were worried they might get outbid. So they bid again to kind of cover their butt in case somebody, overbid them at 99 cents, but it never happened. So they still ended up getting it for $1. Yes, this is a dollar book. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to get rich finding this, but it is kind of fun if you want to go and find it. Asking prices, $3, $5, $7. I mean, it's all kind of the same, really. Is it that big of a difference when we're talking about these numbers these days? That's kind of a new release books will cost more than that now. Like that Deadpool book that came out this week was $10. I mean, come on, comics. What happened with these prices? I wish they would go back to the crappier paper, so maybe comics would be cheaper again. Personally, just comics are just getting so expensive. That said, outside of the number 1, which is a fun book to go look for, it's got the shiny foil and all that stuff. And if you guys watch the channel, I like to do last issues, last to know as well. Those are also fun issues to go and find. So I would keep an eye out for the last issue of the Night Thrasher run, which is issue 21. And it's this cover here with a big zoom in on the face, the final issue of Night Thrasher. Yeah, this is an oddball one. Prices on it are a little inconsistent, as you were about to see. This could be something that you could find and see sell for $7, and then look, there it is in a lot for $20, but also with $30 shipping. So it wasn't quite that cheap for the whole Night Thrasher run. And then we'll look at some asking prices, $8 or actually $9 for that individual final last issue, and that's for a fine copy, by the way, not even a near mint. That's just fine for $9. And look, at 9.6 is like $100, but the prices are all over. I saw another one listed for like 30 plus. And then another one that was only like 10. Like, prices are inconsistent. I'm telling you, go look for it for $1, though. And if you want to try to flip it, make a few bucks, God bless you. But just go look, see if you can find this for cheap. So that's why I'm putting it out there. Look for Night Thrasher 1. Look for Night Thrasher 21, the last issue. Those are probably your best bets when you're out there digging. Which brings us to our final news story of the week and my final book that I want to talk about. And that is DC. I was reading, if you notice, a lot of these stories were from CBR because I was reading comic book resources while I was at work the other day. And a bunch of these stories jumped out at me, including this one, which was something about the DC announces the Trinity of Evil. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so we're going to have like a Superman villain, a Wonder Woman villain, and a Batman villain. This new Trinity of Evil, new big bads for the Trinity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It kind of was that, but it really wasn't. I mean, they made mention of a, what was it, the Queen Brainiac or something? Character's not even out yet, soon to be introduced. And I think there was talk about the recent Joker run that's kind of going on with Batman right now. But they did mention the return in that Joker run of Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. You remember that craziness? Yeah, but that's what's coming back. So this is an issue of an upcoming Batman, issue 141. Zur-En-Arrh is coming back. So I said, you know what? Let's go back to that first appearance and see what was Grant Morrison thinking when he made this. Technically, this is a callback to something that happened way, 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 way back. It's like in the 100s of Batman, but we're not going back that far. So we're going back to when Grant Morrison brought this character to us in Batman 678. This is also a fun run to go look for those 1 in 10s. A couple of cool covers, including one, I think it's on 679. That's a pretty awesome Batman Zur-En-Arrh 1 in 10, where he's got the knife. It's the image that I use for the thumbnail. And then there's a cool Joker one, too, like in this run for these 1 in 10s. That said, at the end of this issue is where we get introduced to the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh. And then we get more of the story in the subsequent issues as part of this Rest in Peace storyline for Batman. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, wild wonkiness. So go back, give it another read, and see if you can explain it better than I did, because it's still tough for me to wrap my head around it a bit. It's like Batman's hidden personality he created to be Batman for Batman in case I don't know. It was some next level stuff that just, I don't know. Like I said, it's tough to wrap the head around sometimes. That said, issue selling on this, cheapest $3 to $8. Again, it's not an expensive book, but still a pretty fun book to go and find. And asking prices, $2 to $10. You can go find this one for cheap too. So go and dig. Maybe you luck out and you find the 1 in 10, which on this one's not that impressive of a cover. I mean, it's a Tony Daniel cover, which is, all right if you're into Tony Daniel. But it's eh. The next issue has a really cool 1 in 10, like I said. And then there was the Joker one, which was on 681 or 683. It's right in this range. There's like this half dozen issues or so. Pretty interesting stories. 1 in 10s aren't bad. Stuff to go and look for. And with that all said, that is all I have for you this week. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate all the support. We'll be back with some more fun stuff. Make sure you come back tomorrow and watch the CBSI Hot 10, which will be dropping both on the website and on the channel simultaneously at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you can stick around on the channel and check out the Get Off My Lawn boys as they're doing the G.I. Joe special tomorrow. I got a soft spot for G.I. Joe too, but I wish I had time to hop on with them, but I can't. But make sure you watch and you hang out in the chat. Saturday night special on Saturday, Tales from the Dark Side on Sunday. And then come Monday, we'll start the week all over again and give you some more of the great content that we have to share with all of you. So once again, thank you for all the support, and I'll see you all later with some more content. All right.